Hey, what's going on? My name is Chad, your Six Sigma Lean coach. Thanks for visiting my YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, I deliver training on Lean and Six Sigma, but on this channel, I really try to, just share my journey around Lean and Six Sigma, but also, share principles, concepts, and information that will help you along your Lean Six Sigma journey as well. Hopefully, trying to make it easier for you to implement Lean in your organization or your business, or if you're someone who is looking into maybe getting into Lean and Six Sigma as a profession, these videos will help you. So before we get started, I want to ask a question. And the question is, why is Lean important to organizations? Now, is it A, because it improves flow and reduces waste? Is it B, it helps them restructure and reduce headcount? C, to help leaders explain stock position to directors? Or D, both B and C? So if you know what the answer is, I want you to go ahead and put that in the comment section below, and I will give you the answer at the end of this video. Now, when I teach Lean and Six Sigma, specifically Lean in this case, I always like to go over value because, and I have my students stand up and actually, as a group, as a team, in different groups, have them talk about what value is and what waste is to them. And that's before I actually go into the definition of value and waste. And the reason I do that is because when we think of value, oftentimes we know what value is, right? We can say, oh, of course, I know what value is. I know what's valuable. And we would think it would be easy to explain. However, when you try to write it down and articulate what you're thinking into words, it does get very difficult. If you don't believe me, try to go ahead and do that. Try to write down what value is. It can be complicated and complex to do that, and especially when you have a group of 3, 4, or 5 people trying to come up with a definition of value. And the reason for that is because value is really in the eye of the beholder, so it's based off perspective. So if you take a look at the screen here, I have a glass of water, right? We have a glass of water here being poured, and then we have a picture of a desert, and then we have some freshwater waterfall here, right? So, and it says here, how valuable is the glass of water? Now, if you were to walk in off the street with a group of people, maybe during lunch, your lunch break, and go to a restaurant, and you notice there's a table that has just been that someone has just left, right? And food has been half eaten. They haven't bussed the table yet, so basically you have a glass of water or multiple glasses of water sitting on the table, and with grease marks or maybe lipstick marks, and just not very appealing, right? If I were to ask you to go over and drink one of those glasses of water, you would probably say, no, that's disgusting, I'm not going to go drink after someone. However, I'd argue that if you were to just walk off of this desert into a restaurant, having been in the desert for 4, 5, 6 days, your mouth is dry, sand particles, lips dry, parched, and you bust open the door of the restaurant and you see any glass of water, doesn't matter where it is, you're going to rush over and drink that water. At least I would, and I would argue that most people would do that. Why? Because the value of that water changed based off your perspective, right? And the same thing is the case with products and services. What one person thinks is valuable, another person might not see as valuable. So if you're a coach and you're doing training and you're training folks on Lean, I would encourage you to maybe take a look at doing that as well. Having a few, usually when I teach class, it's between 15 to 20 people, and I always try to separate them into teams. And when they stand up to do this exercise, I give them about 10 minutes to discuss value, to write it down on their flip charts, and to actually go through and define Lean as, not Lean, but waste as well. And so it's very interesting to see the outcome. And then we go over this line and discuss why it's so difficult to really put a definition of value and waste. Now, when we talk about value, you cannot exclude the value stream map, right? So if you've worked in manufacturing for any amount of time, or banking, or even in hospitals, value stream maps are very valuable. Now, I have learned recently that you can't use value stream maps in all cases. Now, I'm not going to get that in this video, but if you really want to know what I'm talking about, type in why can't you use value stream maps in all cases in the comment section below, and I'll be happy to respond, maybe even do a video on that. Something I learned in the last 2 years. So if we take a look at value stream maps, really the first thing we'll see, 0, 1, the value stream map defines value from the customer's perspective. So we always need to make sure we have the customer in mind when we're looking at the value stream map. And we need to understand that when we are evaluating our value stream map, we're basing it off of takt time, and takt time is really what defines what the customer wants, right? Basically, we have so many hours in a day that we're working, minus lunch breaks and all that stuff, and that leaves us with a net value operating time divided by demand. So it's the amount of net operating time that you have divided by the demand from the customer, and you get a takt time. Takt time is simply how it's like the heartbeat of the process. If the takt time was 10 minutes, then you would expect to see a part rolling off the end of the line every 10 minutes. So that is fundamentally what takt time is. Just remember, it's T over D, time over demand. And when you talk about time, make sure that you are looking at net value time, not, so for example, if you work 8 hours a day, you don't take 8 hours a day and divide that by the demand, because that's going to give you skewed results. You want to make sure you take the 8 hours a day minus your lunches and breaks and any planned downtime, because that's going to give you a better idea of what you're capable of doing. Now, number 2, 0, 2. The value stream map all of the actions and tasks, both value and non-value add, required to bring an item from its inception through to delivery. So basically that means you can have these value stream maps be as large or as small as you want. I've seen some that just document the process, and I've seen some that actually have the whole enterprise-wide planning system, the ERP system, how the information flows from the customer to the production lines and then also from the raw material. So you can make these things grand, or you can keep them very small. You can have a value stream map within a value stream map. These things can get very intricate, but just know that it is all the actions, both value and non-value add. 0, 3, taking a look at the third one here, value stream maps vary in scope. So again, I just kind of mentioned this, reach beyond the enterprise to single process size. And then 0, 4, the last one here, VSM is not a problem-solving tool. It's a visual representation of the current process and will help with identifying issues. And that's absolutely true. You can't use a VSM to solve problems, right? It's not a problem. It's not like DMAIC. It's not a fishbone. Fundamentally, what this is it helps you see complex processes in a linear way, so that you can kind of visualize the entire process. Because remember, sometimes we have processes at different plants. It might be in different states, right? So this can be very difficult to visualize, but a value stream map lays it out in a nice visual way and allows you to see the times associated with each step in the process. And then what we can do is use that tool and the times associated with the processes to exploit any constraints or bottlenecks. Okay, so let's go back and visit the question that I asked at the beginning of the video. Why is Lean important to organizations? If you answered A, because it improves flow and reduces waste, then you are absolutely correct. That is why Lean should be important to organizations. It is a tool that can help us see the organization as a whole, improve flow if we can exploit the constraints and bottlenecks, and then we obviously target reducing waste in the process. So that's the end of the video, but I wanted to ask you that if you like this video and you like this kind of content, to go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see other videos, tell me in the comment section below as well, and I'll be happy to do videos on anything that you're having problems with. My name is Chad, and thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.